Hello, welcome Dr. Sushma Singh this side. Today in Unit 9, the household and the family, let us start our lecture with the topic types of family structure. We have already discussed the nuclear and joint type of families. From the empirical field study in India, we have learned that families assume different class type of simple and nuclear households. Family structures based on the principle of descent distinguish between different type of families. Let us see the two main structural types of families. The first is patrilineal family. The genealogical and siblingship links of the kinship among a group of relatives in a family signals its structural formation. When the central kinship link in the organization of a family is between father and son, the family is patrilineal. We have seen above that such a family could be nuclear or joint. A joint patrilineal family may be lineally or laterally joint. We have also seen how the patrilineal joint family has been assumed to be the typical Indian family. Most of the studies cited above in this unit are studies of the patrilineal family. The second is matrilineal family. Now we shall see alternative family types which are not patrilineal in structure. A family composed of genealogical and sibling relations of kinship with primary focus on the mother-daughter bond and descent principle is a matrilineal family. A matrilineal family too could be nuclear or joint and have varying household forms over its members' life cycle. A joint family in South India, particularly among the matrilineal Nayars, did not resemble the textual and scriptural family of the Indian liturgical text. Not the whole of the South India is matrilineal. Unlike the village Gotra and Spenda exogamy in North India, the South Indian family formation is influenced by cross cousin and uncle niece marriages. Unlike the joint family of the Nambudris based on patrilineal, the Nayar family was based on matrilineal. The patrilineal family in South India is different from that in the North India in some respects. There are variations in family formation among the Nayars within Kerala. For instance, between southwest Kerala and central and north Kerala, Malabar and Travancore differed in their practice of polyandry. Yet, the institution of Tarwad was strong. Review gives an extensive coverage of the studies of matrilineal system and families therein, both by Indian and non-Indian scholars. Sardomini's recent book deals with Travancore, an area taken up by the Puthankalam. Both have dealt with the Taravad as an intimately linked manifestation of the central feature of matrilineal, which gives women certain entitlements such as permanent rights to maintenance by and the residence in their natal home. The relatively greater autonomy of women in the Taravad is a reflection of both the principle of matrilineal and the consequent Taravad formation. Polyandrous unions visiting husbands and ritually sanctioned Nambudris husbands and children from these husbands were typical features of the Taravad. The members of the Taravad ranged from 20 to 30 and more. This family system was rather complex and posed a certain difficulty in fitting with the family in patrilineal family society. Matrilineal is not the mirror opposed to the patrilineal, and thus the difficulty. Levi-Strauss considers the South Indian Nair family as family at times and does not view this grouping as the family at others. The matter is resolved when he sums up that the family is a emanation on the social level of those natural requirements without which there could be no society. Another difficulty is posed by the variation in the Indian family form, which did not easily match with the nuclear family of the industrial West. However, Pathu gives a peep into the matrilineal joint family among the Nayars in Kerala. Nevertheless, the institution of Tarawad gradually weakened as Pathu describes during the colonial rule. See Saradomani whether the decline of the Tarawad is a reflection of the disintegration of the matrilineal joint family is difficult to claim. It is not that the Ilam has replaced the Tarawad. Nevertheless, in the process of disintegration of Tarawad, women's autonomy has been curtailed. The erosion of Nair women's autonomy and entitlement raises a research question on the importance of matrilineality in kinship structures. Now the next point is caste, community and family structure. We have learnt earlier that the Indological approach has positioned the patrilineal joint family prevalent among the higher caste as the ideal Indian family. This bias has generated a problem with regard to the family among the non-patrilineal as well as the non-Hindu communities in Indian society. Chakravarti and Singh found a slightly higher proportion of nuclear over joint family for India as a whole. Of course, joint families are larger in size. The proportion of population residing in them is also larger. Based on the census data, Shah shows that the proportion of joint over nuclear household has not decreased over the decades. He suggests that increased life expectancy and the pressures on urban living space are likely to increase joint living. While Visaria and Visaria estimate increased nuclear family living for similar regions, however, it is clear that urbanization has not led to nuclearization of the family. The evolutionary and Eurocentric bias was so strong that despite a lack of any conclusive evidence that the family in the past was a large joint one, Goody claimed so and predicted that the family was moving forward to assume the form of the Western family. We are now clear that the patrilineal Hindu joint family is considered an ideal by most Hindus, but geographical mobility, among other factors, has increased various forms of household composition, and not necessarily just nuclear family households. Shah describes migrants and their residential arrangements. Sharma and Vatu respectively discuss the strategy of rural families in Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, where a part of the rural family moves to an urban area to access the urban resources for the family's upward mobility through jobs, education, etc. The rural families in both the studies make residential arrangement in urban areas to maximize the family's advantages through both rural and urban households, and yet do not deviate from the joint family norm. By practicing the dual residential pattern, such a family enhances its economic, social and cultural as well as symbolic capital. Low caste Hindu are found not following the norms of the joint family. This should not mean that they do not consider the joint family as an ideal. Kahan delineates the factor responsible for the absence of joint family among the Chamars of the Senapur. It is not sure if the lower caste also do not consider joint family as an ideal family. Carefully research is needed to explore the family among the lower castes. Similarly, the family among tribals and the ideals, the norms and the actual needs to be studied for better information. Though there is at least some research on Muslim family, there is a paucity of data on the family in the non-Hindu communities in India. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.